Level 1. The mind that never stops. You think more than most people. Not because you want to, because your mind refuses to be quiet. Even now, as you're watching this, it's already talking. Did I leave something unfinished? What if tomorrow goes badly? What if I've wasted my life? The thoughts never arrive one at a time. They arrive all at once, like dozens of radio stations playing together. You don't remember when it started. You only know it's always been this way. As a child, people described you as quiet, well-behaved, mature for your age. What they couldn't see was the noise inside your head. You asked questions nobody else seemed to ask. What if mom gets into a car accident? What if the house catches fire while we're asleep? What if everyone secretly hates me? Your parents smiled. Don't worry so much. You tried. You really did. But telling your mind not to think was like telling the ocean not to make waves. One night, you're lying in bed. The lights are off. Your bedroom is silent. Everyone else is asleep. But your brain has just started working. You replay something that happened at school. Your teacher corrected your answer. She wasn't angry. She simply corrected you. But your mind asks, did I sound stupid? Did everyone laugh? Will they remember that forever? You replay the moment again and again. Each replay feels slightly worse than the last. Eventually, you convince yourself everyone thinks you're embarrassing. The next morning, nobody even remembers it happened, except you. Your mind stores tiny moments, like they're life-changing disasters. As you grow older, your imagination becomes stronger. So does your anxiety. Your friends look forward to school trips. You think about everything that could go wrong. The bus crashing, getting lost, forgetting something important. While everyone else is excited, you're preparing for disasters that never happen. One afternoon, your mother calls your name. She doesn't answer immediately after. Just your name, that's all. Instantly, your heart races. Am I in trouble? Did I break something? Did someone call? You walk into the room. She smiles. Can you hand me the TV remote? That's it. Your heart slowly calms down. Your brain created an entire emergency over a television remote. This becomes your normal. Every unknown number feels like bad news. Every cough feels like illness. Every silence feels like rejection. One day, your best friend doesn't reply to your text. An hour passes, then two. Your brain immediately begins writing stories. They're angry. I said something wrong. Maybe they don't want to be friends anymore. By evening, you've imagined your friendship ending 20 different ways. The next morning, they finally reply, sorry, my phone died. Just like that, every terrifying story disappears. But your brain doesn't learn. Next time, it does it all over again. Teachers praise you for being thoughtful. They don't realize you're exhausted. Thinking isn't your talent. It's your full-time job. Even during happy moments, your mind won't let you stay there. You're opening birthday presents. Instead of enjoying them, you're wondering whether people spent too much money. You're watching a movie. Halfway through, you're thinking about tomorrow's homework. You're eating dinner with your family. Your body is at the table. Your mind is somewhere else entirely. People begin saying things like, you're always in your own head. They're right. But it isn't a place you enjoy. It's a place you can't escape. Nighttime becomes the hardest part of your day, because that's when the distractions disappear. No conversations, no television, no school, just you and your thoughts. You stare at the ceiling. Every mistake you've ever made suddenly returns. The awkward conversation from 3 years ago. The embarrassing joke nobody laughed at. The opportunity you didn't take. The words you wish you could take back. Your brain plays them like your favorite playlist, over and over and over. Eventually, your body falls asleep. Your mind never really does. You wake up tired, not because you didn't sleep, because your brain worked all night. One afternoon, your father notices you staring out the window. You okay? You immediately answer, yeah. Because how do you explain something you don't understand yourself? How do you explain that your biggest battle isn't with school, or work, or other people? It's with your own thoughts. Years pass. People continue believing you're simply quiet, reserved, an introvert. No one realizes your silence isn't empty, it's crowded. Then one evening, you're lying in bed again, exactly like you were as a child. Except this time, your thoughts aren't about tomorrow's homework. They're about your future, your career, money, relationships, your health, your family, the world, everything. You suddenly realize something frightening. Your mind isn't getting quieter as you grow older. It's getting louder, and tomorrow, you'll discover what happens when thinking stops helping you and starts controlling your entire life. Level 2. When your thoughts start making decisions. Growing up doesn't quiet your mind. It gives it more to worry about. School becomes college, college becomes work, work becomes your future. Every stage of life gives your brain another reason to stay awake. One morning, you open your email. There's a job posting. Better salary. Better hours. Exactly the kind of opportunity you've been hoping for. Your friend looks at it and says, "You should apply." You nod. "I probably will." But you don't. Not because you aren't qualified. Because your mind gets there first. What if they laugh at my resume? What if I embarrass myself in the interview? What if they ask a question I can't answer? What if I leave my current job and regret it? By the end of the day, you've imagined 50 different ways it could go wrong. So you close the application. Someone else gets the job. Months later, you discover they had almost the exact same qualifications as you. The only difference, they applied. You didn't. Not because you weren't capable. Because your thoughts convinced you not to try. This begins happening everywhere. You type a message, delete it, rewrite it, delete it again. You spend 15 minutes sending a text that takes someone else 10 seconds. Even after you send it, you keep reading it. Did that sound rude? Should I have added an emoji? Maybe I shouldn't have sent it at all. Your phone lights up. They reply. Sounds good. That's it. They're happy. The conversation is over. But your brain is still analyzing it. One evening, you're invited to a party. You actually want to go. Then your mind starts talking. What if nobody speaks to me? What if I say something awkward? What if everyone already knows each other? What if I don't fit in? You decide to stay home. You tell everyone you're tired. The truth? You were exhausted before the party even started. Not physically, mentally. You spend the night scrolling through photos of everyone having fun. Your mind quietly whispers, "See, you should have gone." The cruel part is, it was your own thoughts that stopped you. Relationships become even harder. Someone smiles at you. You wonder if they're just being polite. Someone compliments you. You assume they're joking. Someone says, "We should hang out sometime." Instead of feeling excited, you wonder if they actually mean it. You become an expert at doubting good things, compliments, opportunities, friendships, love. Your mind treats them all with suspicion. One afternoon, you make a tiny mistake at work. You send the wrong file. Your manager calmly says, "No problem, just send the correct one." Your coworkers forget about it within 5 minutes. You don't. 3 days later, you're still thinking about it. A week later, you replay the conversation while trying to sleep. A month later, you randomly remember it while brushing your teeth. The mistake lasted 30 seconds. Your mind turned it into 30 days. People begin describing you differently. You worry too much. You think too much. You need to relax. If only it were that simple. Because telling yourself to stop thinking is like telling your heart to stop beating. You can't. One Saturday morning, you decide you're finally going to relax. No work, no responsibilities, just peace. You sit down to watch your favorite movie. 10 minutes later, your brain interrupts. Did you pay that bill? What if you forgot something important? Should you be using this time more productively? You pause the movie. Check your banking app. Check your calendar. Check your email. Everything is fine. You return to the movie. 5 minutes later, your thoughts find something new. You can't even relax without worrying that you're relaxing incorrectly. Then something begins happening that scares you. You stop trusting yourself. Every decision becomes a debate. Which apartment? Which career? Which relationship? Which city? Which opportunity? You make lists. Pros, cons. More pros, more cons. You ask everyone for advice. Then, after hearing 10 different opinions, you become even more confused. Because your problem isn't a lack of information. It's an overload of thinking. One night, you look back at the past few years. You notice something painful. The biggest regrets in your life aren't the risks you took. They're the opportunities your fear convinced you to avoid. The conversations you never had. The jobs you never applied for. The people you never approached. The dreams you never started. Not because you couldn't, because you couldn't stop imagining failure. You stare at the ceiling. A thought quietly enters your mind. What if the thing holding me back isn't the world? What if it's my own mind? That question stays with you. Because tomorrow, thinking won't just make life difficult. It will become the invisible prison that keeps you from truly living. Level 3. When your mind becomes your prison. At some point, you stop noticing how much you're thinking. Because it's become normal. Normal to replay conversations. Normal to imagine disasters. Normal to prepare for problems that don't exist. Your mind has been doing it for so long, you mistake it for who you are. Then one afternoon, your phone rings. It's an unknown number. You don't answer. Instead, you stare at the screen. What if it's bad news? What if I owe someone money? What if someone I love is hurt? 10 minutes later, you finally listen to the voicemail. It's your dentist, reminding you about tomorrow's appointment. You laugh. Not because it's funny, because your brain had already imagined a tragedy. One ordinary phone call became a catastrophe inside your head. This starts happening every day. Your boss says, "Can we talk for a minute?" Your stomach drops. "I'm getting fired." You walk into the office. He smiles. "I wanted to thank you for helping the new employee." That's it. No bad news, no criticism, just appreciation. Yet your body had already lived through the fear. Your heart doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. So it reacts to both. You begin noticing something strange. Nothing terrible is happening. Yet you're exhausted all the time. Not because life is difficult. Because your mind keeps living it twice. Once in reality, and once inside your imagination. A friend invites you on vacation. You don't think about beaches, or sunsets, or memories. You think about delayed flights, lost luggage, bad weather, food poisoning, hotel mistakes. You imagine so many disasters that staying home feels safer. The vacation happens without you. Your friends return smiling. Everything went perfectly. You wonder why you expected anything different. Deep down, you already know. Because your mind has trained itself to look for danger before joy. Months later, someone asks you a simple question. What do you actually enjoy doing? You open your mouth, then stop. You honestly don't know. It's been so long since you've simply enjoyed something. Even your hobbies became projects. Your weekends became schedules. Your rest became guilt. If you're relaxing, you think you should be working. If you're working, you think you should be resting. No matter what you're doing, your mind convinces you that you should be doing something else. One evening, you sit with your family at dinner. Everyone is laughing. Your younger brother is telling a funny story. Your mother can't stop smiling. Your father is trying not to laugh. It's one of those moments people remember forever. Except, you barely hear any of it. Because your mind is somewhere else. Thinking about tomorrow's meeting. Next month's bills. Something embarrassing you said 6 years ago. The conversation ends. Your family gets up from the table. Then you suddenly realize you weren't really there. Your body was. Your mind wasn't. That realization hurts. Because how many moments have you missed while worrying about moments that never came? The following week, you accomplish something huge. You finally receive the promotion you've worked toward for years. Everyone congratulates you. Your coworkers clap. Your family celebrates. Your phone fills with messages. You smile. For about 5 minutes. Then, your mind starts again. What if I'm not good enough? What if they made a mistake? What if I fail? You can't even enjoy success. Because your brain is already preparing for failure. One Saturday morning, you decide to clean your room. While sorting through old boxes, you find a notebook from years ago. Inside are journal entries from your teenage years. You begin reading. I'm worried people won't like me. I'm scared I'll never be successful. I'm afraid I'll disappoint everyone. You stop reading. Those words could have been written yesterday. Then something unexpected happens. You realize something almost every page has in common. Almost none of the things you feared actually happened. The friendships survived. The exams passed. The interviews worked out. The disasters never came. Yet, you spent years suffering as if they had. You slowly close the notebook. A question quietly enters your mind. If my thoughts have been wrong this many times, why do I keep believing every single one? That question follows you everywhere. Because for the first time, you're not questioning the world. You're questioning your own thinking. And tomorrow, you'll discover the lesson that finally begins setting you free. Not by stopping your thoughts, but by realizing. Level 4. The day you stop believing every thought. You always thought peace meant having fewer thoughts. It doesn't. Peace begins the day you stop believing every single one of them. It starts on an ordinary afternoon. You're sitting alone in a coffee shop. Your phone is face down. Your laptop is closed. For the first time in weeks, you aren't doing anything. Almost immediately, your mind gets to work. You're wasting time. You should be answering emails. Other people are working harder than you. You're falling behind. Normally, those thoughts would send you into action. You'd grab your phone, open your laptop, find something, anything to do. Today, you don't move. You simply notice the thought. Then another one appears. Something bad is going to happen. You look around. Nothing is happening. People are talking. Coffee is brewing. Music is playing softly. The danger exists only inside your head. For the first time, you ask yourself a different question. Not, is this thought true? But, do I have any evidence that it's true? Your mind goes quiet. Not completely. Just long enough for you to notice something. Most of your thoughts aren't facts. They're predictions, guesses, stories, possibilities. Your brain has spent years treating them like certainty. That evening, you begin reading about how the mind works. You discover something fascinating. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not to keep you happy. Thousands of years ago, assuming the worst helped people survive. Today, that same survival system sends you into panic over unanswered text messages and ordinary meetings. Your brain isn't broken. It's simply trying too hard to protect you. The problem is, it can't tell the difference between a tiger and an email from your boss. The next morning, you decide to try something new. Instead of fighting your thoughts, you watch them, as if they're clouds drifting across the sky. One appears. You're going to fail. Instead of arguing, you let it pass. Another appears. Everyone is judging you. You let that one pass too. Then another. You'll never be good enough. For years, you would have spent hours wrestling with that thought. Today, you simply notice it, then return to what you were doing. It's harder than you expected. Some thoughts still pull you in. Some still make your heart race. But something is changing. You're beginning to realize you are not your thoughts. You're the one observing them. One afternoon, your phone buzzes. It's another unknown number. You smile. You answer it. Not because you're fearless, because you're tired of letting imagined disasters make your decisions. It's your doctor's office, confirming an appointment. You hang up, then laugh quietly. Years ago, that phone call would have stolen your entire afternoon. Today, it lasted 30 seconds. A week later, you make another decision. You apply for a position you've wanted for years. Your finger hovers over the submit button. Your mind immediately begins. You're not qualified. Someone else is better. Don't embarrass yourself. You smile. Because you've heard these voices before. This time, you don't argue with them. You simply click submit. Your heart races. But your life moves forward. For the first time, your actions are leading your life, not your fears. Days later, you're invited to an interview. You still feel nervous. Your hands still sweat. Your mind still imagines everything going wrong. The difference is, you show up anyway. You finally understand something. Courage isn't the absence of anxious thoughts. It's refusing to let them make your choices. Then, one evening, you're sitting outside watching the sunset. No phone, no music, no distractions. Your mind begins talking again. It probably always will. But something feels different. The voice is no longer in charge. You are. You take a slow breath. You notice the wind, the colors in the sky, the birds flying overhead. For the first time in years, you're exactly where your body is. Not trapped in yesterday. Not terrified of tomorrow. Simply, here. You smile. Not because life suddenly became perfect. Because your mind finally stopped running your life. And tomorrow, you'll discover the greatest freedom you've ever experienced. Not a life without thoughts, but a life where your thoughts no longer own you. You don't have to obey every one of them. Level 5. The life you almost missed. One morning, you wake up. And for the first time in years, your mind isn't racing. It isn't completely silent. It probably never will be. But it's quieter. You lie in bed for a moment, listening, waiting for the usual flood of worries. They come, just slower. Did I send that email? What if today goes badly? You notice the thoughts. Then you smile, because something has changed. You don't automatically believe them anymore. You get out of bed, open the curtains. Sunlight fills the room. Months ago, you would have already been checking your phone, emails, news, messages, your calendar. Today, you leave your phone where it is. Instead, you make breakfast. You actually taste it, not because the food changed, because your attention did. On your way to work, traffic comes to a complete stop. Cars stretch for miles. Someone behind you starts honking. Months ago, your mind would have spiraled. I'm going to be late. My boss is going to be disappointed. This day is ruined. Instead, you take a deep breath. You send a quick message. Running 10 minutes late. Traffic. See you soon. That's it. Problem handled. Not imagined, not exaggerated, just handled. At work, you make a mistake. A real one. You accidentally send the wrong report. For a split second, your old mind returns. You've messed everything up. Everyone will remember this. You're going to lose your job. You stop. Take another breath. Correct the report. Apologize. Move on. To your surprise, everyone else moves on too. You wonder how many years you spent suffering over mistakes that everyone else forgot within minutes. One evening, your best friend says something you've never heard before. You seem lighter. You laugh. What does that even mean? I don't know. You just look like you're finally here. That sentence stays with you. Because for years, you weren't here. You were trapped in tomorrow. Or yesterday. Never today. You begin noticing things you've missed your entire life. The sound of rain against your window. The smell of fresh coffee. Children laughing in a park. The warmth of sunlight on your face. Conversations without mentally rehearsing your next sentence. Walks without headphones. Moments without distraction. Nothing about the world changed. You did. One Saturday afternoon, you visit your parents. Your mother is telling the same story she's told dozens of times. Normally, your mind would have wandered after the first minute. Today, you simply listen. You notice the way her eyes light up. The way your father smiles before she reaches the funny part. You laugh together. Not because it's a new story. Because you're actually present enough to hear it. As you're leaving, your father quietly says, "It's good to have you back." You stop. "What do you mean?" He smiles. "You were here before, but you always looked like you were somewhere else." You don't answer. Because he's right. You spent years physically present while mentally absent. You almost missed your own life. Months later, you're sitting alone in a park, watching strangers walk by. Some are smiling, some look worried, some are staring at their phones. You wonder how many of them are fighting the same battle you fought. A battle no one else can see. Then your own mind speaks again. It always will. What if tomorrow is difficult? You smile. Maybe it will be. Maybe it won't. Either way, you'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow arrives. Not today. You stand up. Take one final look around. The trees, the sky, the people, the quiet. For years, you searched for peace by trying to control every thought. Now you know, peace was never about controlling your mind. It was about refusing to let your mind control you. You realize something beautiful. Your thoughts never stopped. They simply stopped becoming your master. And that changed everything. Because the greatest prison you ever escaped had no walls, no locks, no guards, only the voice inside your own head. And the greatest freedom you'll ever experience is realizing that you don't have to believe everything you think.